Record. Yeah, good call. Thank you. They're doing work on the floor next door. Sorry. All right, so far, because we're making fresh pasta, we have gotten out our all-purpose flour, eggs. I've decided I'm gonna do a little bit of dried herbs. Why? Because it's fun. And a little bit of salt. Now, the other thing is, as you should in any commercial kitchen, you should take your rings off. Now, I know that I've been like, hey, I'm cooking distance, so I'm leaving my rings on. Not today, okay? You're gonna get messy. It's fun, but you're gonna get messy. This is part of the reason you need a nice, clean part of your counter. Could you do it on a table? Yes. If it has like, if it's like two parts of a table that come together, don't do it over the little edge in the middle. That's not good. All right, the other thing I'm going to need is a measuring cup. Oops, wrong one. That is this is a cup. That is 1 cup, which is what I want. And a fork. So I now have everything I need. Cup, fork, eggs, salt, flour, and just because I feel like messing around, some dried herbs, and for me, my bench scraper. For you guys, this guy, because that's going to help you get it off of the counter. Right, next. And do I have to be super careful on this one with the scoop and sweep method? Not as careful. You don't have to be super intense about it like you do when you're making cookies, because if you add too much flour with cookies, that's not good. Now, if you end up with too much flour when you're making pasta, your pasta won't come together nicely. But do you have to be quite as careful? No. So that is about a cup. And I'm going to angle you guys down. Now, I am also going to pull out another cup so that I can easily sprinkle it if I need it. But then I'm going to put that flour off to the side. Okay, now you're going to make a well. A what? A well. Fancy for, you're going to make a hole in the flour. Take a couple of fingers, dig down to the bottom, and swirl around so that you have a nice little hole. Looks kind of like a flour donut, doesn't it? You want it to have sides because you're going to break your egg in here. And although it's going to start going all over the place, you don't want it to go too far. Now, different recipes call for different things. The recipe that I have that I will be posting for you guys, this came from my sister-in-law. I'm going to lift this up a little bit. So, fresh pasta, 1 cup flour. You end up needing more, a couple of eggs, salt, okay? Optional, seasonings and or herbs. All right, 2 large eggs. So remember, we're doing that crack on the flat surface. Okay, you can see the little cracks. And then I'm going to gently pull it apart and put it right in the middle. I'm going to do the same thing all over again. And 2. All right. Now I'm going to put this into the green bin and wash my hands. Now I know I'm about to go and get my hands all dirty with the eggs again. So why would I wash my hands? Because it's just touched the green bin. And as nicely as we treat our green bin, it's still part of the garbage stuff. So you want to make sure that you clean yourself up. It's important. All right. Now, if you happen to have a friend of yours who is allergic to eggs. Can you make this just with flour and water? Yes. Does it taste as good? No. Does it hold together as nicely? No. But can you do it? Absolutely. Now at this point, I'm going to add a little salt to my eggs. How much? Some. It's probably about a 1/4 of a teaspoon, give or take. Now I'm not going to let it sit there, because if I just let it sit, it's going to burn the eggs. How do you burn the eggs when they're not even cooking? Because of how the salt reacts with the eggs. So now it's like I'm scrambling my eggs, but I'm scrambling them in the middle of a flour. Hi. Where who? Huh? No. I brought them downstairs, but I have more dough. So if you want to turn on the oven and make another batch, I can make another batch. What? I'm happy to make you more.
Yeah, no, I'm just like lightly frazzled because one thing I hope would never happen. I got called on to be a facilitator of a breakout room.
Okay.
Meeting a bunch of kids who were intensely uninterested.
Awesome. All right. So now, if you are adding fresh herbs, you do it a little bit later. I'm doing dried herbs, so I'm going to add them now. How much dried herbs? This is totally up to you in terms of your taste. So I'm going to do, okay, that's about half. Okay, how much is that? About a teaspoon, and I'm going to have to clean that off later. I think that was actually more like a half a teaspoon. So the thing you have to remember about dried herbs is because they are dried, once they rehydrate, they are more intense than fresh herbs. So as these hydrate with the egg, their flavors will start to get to be more and more robust. All right, so now's the fun part. What? Yeah, now's the fun part.
Wait, what did you add to the eggs?
So I happen to have a seasoning. This does not have salt in it. This is a garlic saltless. It just happens to have, so it has garlic powder. It has some oregano, rosemary, basil. It's got all sorts of fun and funky things. But if I was just doing it in class, I'd probably do some garlic powder, maybe a little oregano, maybe a little basil, maybe a little pepper. So you decide. And can you just do garlic? Yes. Do you have to do any seasonings at all? No. So now that I've got my egg going, I'm going to again take the 2 fingers and start to bring together with my hand. Yes. Like I said, you're going to get messy. It's fun. Okay. I'm trying to keep this with one hand. If I was like one of those super awesome little Italian, old people who they keep one hand perfectly clean and they get the other one. Okay. So coming together, and my hand's getting more and more gross. Now here's where I'm going to start to bring in that flour, because I want to make sure that everything gets in there. Now the other thing to think about is your flour is going to react differently depending on the time of year. If it has rained recently, even if you keep it in a perfectly nice container, it makes a difference. Okay. So if it's been really dry, like it has been here, then your flour is going to be much more dry. All of that ends up coming into play as you are putting your dough together. Like, oh my God, it's all over your hands, chef. Yeah, it is. Be chill. Gonna look like a blah for a little bit. It's all good. See, and I can smell those herbs starting to, that are starting to come get hydrated, so they start to have a really nice smell. All right, so now that it's actually starting to come together, it is? Yeah, it is. I'm going to continue to mush it. And what I want is for it to not be sticky. I'm also continuing to pick up the other pieces and kind of fold them in. I'm picking up all the little pieces, folding them in. Now, I'm at this awesome point where it's still kind of sticking to my hands, but I want to get all that into my dough. So I'm going to do that and start to pull off these chunks and stick them to the dough. Like I said, am I an awesome little old Italian lady? I am not. But after a bit, will you get all these pieces and they will be incorporated? Yes. Did you want me to turn on the oven?
Sure. Yeah. Let's do that.
Okay. You want to do it? 350? Okay, my darling son is in fetch mode. What does that mean? Complain. He's crabby. Okay.
Sorry, I have this leader group of very uninterested people.
It's always joyful. All right, so all that flour, all that egg, all the seasonings. Oh, hey Ben, can you help me out? I need you to let this student in because I'm
Gotcha.
I'm eggy.
No problem, Pastor Janice.
Thank you. Yep, right there. Awesome. All right. So getting there. And I'm going to guess that Julio is going to need more flooring. You want to take a quick peek next door and say if you need it, we have it. Ben Nelson. Ben, go tell them go tell Julio if he needs more flooring, we have it. He's over at Cheryl's.
Are we supposed to be making something?
Yes. So this, yes, fine. I just, because he's starting to drill things, I wanted him to be aware. Okay, so now I've got all that stuff together. That was a little bit more than a cup of flour, 2 eggs, the salt, and I decided to put in a little bit of seasonings, of dry seasonings. Now, this is to make fresh pasta. So the thing is that my thumb is sticking. So I'm gonna put out a little bit of flour, not a lot, just a little, because I don't want my hands sticking to it. We're trying to knead, K-N-E-A-D, not as in, oh my gosh, I need that. This is knead as in, it's a technique of pushing with the heel of your hand, folding and turning. Yeah, I've got an entire box of it in the office, babe. So, and I'm gonna turn this on because that's gonna get very, okay. So I'm now folding, pushing out with my palm, turning, folding, pushing out with my palm, folding, turning. Now the other thing is you can go back and forth. So it's like a fold and turn, fold and turn. How long are you gonna need it? A while. So it's okay if it's got a little bit of, you don't want it sticking to the counter, okay? If it starts to stick to the counter, you need to put out another little bit of flour. Now, remember, not a lot, because there's people, I'm gonna do this on purpose for a second. There's people and they go, ugh. And then because this cannot absorb that much flour, it tries to, and then it gets really tough and not pliable, which is a fancy word for being able to like squish it. So if you can't squish it anymore, you probably have too much flour. And because we're trying to get it to a point where it is both not sticky, but also a little stretchy. So this is that part where when you watched that video that talked about gluten and those gluten molecules and how when they get wet, they soften up and then they come together as gluten, those two different molecules. This is exactly that same process, but it's going to be using the water, I need a little bit more because it's a little sticky, from the eggs. So figure you're probably gonna need maybe about 8 to 10 minutes. What? Yeah. Remember, people in Italy have been doing this for like eons. Actually, people in Asia have also been doing this for eons. Because noodles did not start in Italy. Did you guys know that? Noodles came from Asia, not from Italy. Italy took it and ran with it and made amazing things. But yeah, originally noodles came from Asia. So there's a nice thing about doing all this kneading. You will not need to go to the gym. You will not have to do your arm workout on a day that you're going to do kneading. Nope, not necessary. Definitely not necessary. Now, like I was talking about before in terms of a pasta machine. So a pasta machine is a hand cranked kind of a machine. You attach it to the side of a counter and you crank it down and you make the noodles thinner and thinner and thinner. And then you can put them through a particular cut, fettuccine, spaghetti, like that. So every time I feel like it's just getting a little too sticky, when I add just a little bit of flour, little bit, okay? Easy to overdo it. That's definitely not what you want. How's everybody doing? If you say something in chat, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to see it, so speak up.
My arms hurt.
Uh-huh. Welcome to actual kneading. So here's the thing. I tried to get you guys mixers. I did. I tried. They're like $300 each. There's no way. So when we're in the classroom, we have mixers that will do the kneading for you. However, thank you, dear.
Why do you have to choose this to be your workspace? Why can't you be somewhere that you can get stuff out?
Because I'm purposefully being a pain in the butt. It's my job. How am I doing? Doing my job pretty good, huh? Yes, you can. So, so Sierra is one of those lucky ducks who has a stand mixer. Can she use the stand mixer with the dough hook? Yes. And if you're going to do that, one of the things you want to make sure and do is to oil the dough hook at the very top so that your dough does not crawl on up the actual dough hook and get all messed up in the gears. It's not
Where's
fun.
the
Where's what?
this?
I can't hear you.
Where do I find the assignment at?
So I have not posted this recipe yet. So I wanted to get us going on this because it's only 3 ingredients, which is flour, egg, and salt. That's all you need. And I know that I gave you guys flour. Say again?
I'm just supposed to watch you right now?
No, you're supposed to join me. So if you have, okay, yeah, no, please join me. If you've got a clean space, if you've got a cup and some, probably more like a cup and a half, but you start with a cup of flour. If you got your salt and you've got 2 eggs, you can make fresh pasta. All right.
You're gonna grade this?
I will once. So in the end, what you're gonna do is, I already added extra chocolate to. Oh, that one. Never mind. Sorry, got distracted by the child reaching in front of me. So yes, I will grade this in terms of you showing me that you've done this. Does it have to be today? No. Oh boy. Okay, hey Ben, Julio, can you grab that please? He's gonna need more flooring, I can guarantee you. All right, so.
But eventually you will put on Canvas.
I will be putting it up on Canvas, yes.
Will I have the recipe?
Yes, it will, most definitely. And I will also do my best to include this video with it. So if people can, if they can't do it today, then they can do it in a different time, and that's totally fine. So this is one of the things of like any recipe that I show, you don't have to do it right at this second. So I'm trying to make sure that, you know, if you need more time to get it done, if you don't have all the ingredients there, for whatever reason, that you end up having more time to get it done than just today. You know, normally if we were in class, we'd all be doing this. I would have bought all the eggs, I would have all the flour, we'd be working on the wooden top tables that you guys would have cleaned beautifully, and then, yeah. And then we would actually use the pasta machines, the ones that are hand cranked. And I'll, you know what, I have some video of that also that I will try and upload and share with you guys of like what, if you actually have a machine, what that looks like. Okay. I think I'm pretty happy with that. All right. So as you can see, I can squish into it, but if I try and stretch it, it's got some pull. So, which is a good thing. We want it to. Now, what can you make? Great question. because I don't have a pasta machine here, what kinds of shapes can we make? Well, you have stuff there that you can use to make all sorts of different kinds of shapes. So, butter knife, that's gonna help make one shape. If you happen to have a chopstick, that's gonna make another shape. Or anything, you know, so if you don't have that, if you happen to have a straw, anything like that. Can, yep, to help flatten out big pieces. Yep. Okay, so I touched the door. I'm washing my hands again. All right, so yeah, so basically the things you have at home, you can use to make the shapes that you want. You don't need to have fancy schmancy kinds of tools. Oh, you're baking yours off. Okay, bye, honey. You see my cool spaceman stiff hubby? That's my spaceman. He's in his motorcycle outfit. Okay, so I'm going to cut off a little piece. Now, one of the things is that once you start, if you start to leave it out, it's gonna dry out. So you need to wrap this up in plastic wrap, put it into a container, something like that. For any of the portion you're not working with right then, you need to wrap it up. So I'm gonna cut off a little bit. And then I'm gonna wrap this up and leave it over there. All right, so for this little piece, okay, so the first thing is I can tear off a piece, flatten it out, and then, make sure this is down, by using the serrated side of the knife, you start on one side and you pull, come on, baby. And see how it kind of curls? So it's supposed to be a orecchiette, basically like an ear. And the other thing to remember is what seems like thin to you, once it cooks, it's gonna thicken up. So just keep that in mind also. All right. So I'm going to then, oops, I'm going to roll this into a long, thin piece. I can't roll it on there because it's too floury. Right, so I'm going to do it in my hands a little bit. It's a nice thing, right? Is that you have lots and lots of flexibility. Okay, so I'm just rolling it in my hands. Okay, trying to make it into kind of a long, skinny little snake looking dealy guy. All right, then, and this might even be a little bit thick. but so I can give it a little stretch as I go around. And then I'm gonna let that just hang out. You guys see that, guys? And if I let that guy dry like that, then when it cooks, it won't unwind. It will stay in that shape. What about, somebody had asked me before, what about lasagna? Can, roll. See, you do not have to have perfect machines at all. No, no, no. Oh, see, now you're starting to be able to see the herbs in there. Right? Ooh, I missed. All right. So if you wanted to do something long and wide and make some lasagna style noodles, you totally could. Now, okay, so this is not particularly long. Can you do something longer and more narrow? Yes. And do the, oops, do the stretchy thing. Yes, I'm gonna put that over there. Anybody know what this looks like? Flat, long types of noodles. Fettuccine, anyone? Now there's another one. So I'm just gonna pop these over here and they're gonna start to dry. They've got enough flour on them so that they won't end up being too crazy. And what do I do with this? I can put this back in with this, not a problem. All right. So there's a kind of, let's see, I'm going to cut off a chunk, wrap up the rest. All right. Now, the one thing to think about is when you are boiling your noodles. So they need a lot less time than regular pasta does. They cook a whole lot faster. So that's something to be aware of. And I would cook these ones together, but I would not cook these and this together. No. These ones, yes. This one, if I made a bunch more like this, then I would have do these ones together. And if I made a much more like this, I would do those ones together. But because this one's thicker than these, and these ones are long and thin, and this one's wide, don't cook them together because you'll have some that are underdone and some that are overdone, and that's not happy. All right. So I am presently just squishing this between my thumb and my forefinger to lengthen it out. I can use my can. Now, if I want to make sure that my can does not stick, I just put a light layer of flour over it, and that will help it not stick. And did you see how it like shrunk back in? that's the gluten, okay? If you're like, oh, I want it to go further out, but it keeps on like snapping back, you can wrap this back up and let it rest for 5 to 10 minutes, and that gluten will loosen up and allow you to get it to go longer and longer. And you won't have to fight it quite so hard. So there's this long, fairly wide noodle called the pappardelle. It's not this wide, it's about half this size. So one thing about Italian pasta is that they have lots and lots of different sizes and shapes and colors and, oop, I need to re-flour my can. There you go. Just kidding. Snapping back. I don't know if you guys are seeing the snapping back part. Let me go down a little further. Okay. So, that one, of course, stayed still. Of course it did, because I wanted to show the snap back, and then, of course, it's not gonna. All right. To me, that's not quite thin enough, but it's still doing kind of a snappy thing. See if I pull on it and see how it came back up. That's that gluten doing its thing again. Now, the only thing is, this can is only going to get it so thin. Because it has these little edges, it won't be able to get it completely thin. Oh, fiddlesticks. All right. It's actually not bad. You guys see that? No, of course not, because I don't have the thing in the right place. So I go like that. That's that gluten. Shrinking, okay? Sometimes, I know that sounds weird, I'm smacking at the dough, but that can help relax it also. All right, so pappardelle is about that wide. Well, and I went off kilter. Okay. Oh. Okay. There you go. All right, so, ding dong. I am going to make a few more that are, whoops, like this. See, these have started to dry out, which is what I wanted them to do, but then I tried to mess with them. My bad. So I'm gonna make a few more of that size, and then I will show you how quickly they cook, because it's darn quick. Oh, I'm so silly. Something else I should have shown you. Hold on. If you happen to have a pizza cutter, you can totally do pizza cuttings on these. Can you see? Yes. Yeah. Okay. So all sorts of different sizes and shapes. I've seen people, they'll start to boil them and then they throw these in a pan and fry them up. Do you, I guess. It's all good. Somebody always asks me, what about ravioli? Okay, ravioli is its own little party, but so you're going to need a piece that's double wide the size of the ravioli. And most of the time they do a big long piece and then they put the filling. Now, here's a fun question. How much filling is in each ravioli? Take a guess. Ooh, you can even cut them in squares and then push a fork in each side. Yes. So to make a bow tie. Yes, absolutely. All right, so the amount of filling in a piece of ravioli is like 1 teaspoon. That's it. It ain't much. Yeah. All right. So, and I will try and do the little forky thing. Okay. So if I was doing this, okay.
What's that your plan?
No. At some point, I want to make currywurst.
Oh, and make sure that your camera is not pointing towards the stove.
Okay. Oy vey. Okay.
What?
Nothing. Hush, 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 darling son. Okay. So if I was making ravioli, I would put a little blop. I'm going to use this. Why not? Of filling right there. Okay. Then I would fold this over. Then the thing you have to do is you have to press the noodle down around your filling. You do not want any air bubbles because air bubbles will make the whole thing puff up and explode. And then you knock it down. Okay, so let's see if I can do a decent fork. Okay, so let's see if I can make a decent bow tie. It's been a while since I've made a decent bow tie. So you can either do it with a fork and like do a twist, or you can fold back and forth, back and forth, and then mush in the middle. This is too big. It's the nice thing about pasta. You can change your mind. Go, nope, that's not working. I'm gonna do it different. Boop. There we go. Why not? Yeah. And I know this looks more round, so I'm gonna try and make it a little bit more square. Okay, a little more square. So fold, 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 fold. So there's the folds. Then I smush it in the middle, and there is the bow tie. What? All right, here, hold on. Okay, that's toasty. Moving over. All right. That's on. You want that still on? I'm turning it off. All right. So I am now at the point where I want to cook some of this, but how are they going to come out? What are they going to come out into? So I happen to have, wow, this is super fun having to cook at the stove.
I've got no sweets.
Why with the knocking and the I'm just waiting. Okay, so this is called a spider. I know it doesn't look really like a spider, but it's called a spider. And you can get these at like Ranch 99 for just a couple bucks, which is awesome. However, once I've cooked my pasta, I need to have something to put it into. So this is how I'm going to get it out of the water, but I still need something to put it into. So I need a bowl. And because I'm not making too terribly much, I'm just going to grab a cute little bowl. One of the ones I made. This is one of my more favorite bowls that I made. Yes, ceramic. Ta-da! Yeah, all right. So I am going to cut these into a few more pieces because I think I'm gonna do these flat guys first. So I'll make sure that they are basically the same size and shape, because then they should cook at basically about the same rate. Okay. That should be good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Voila. So I have my little stack of, and they're just little squares. Okay. I just went super simple, super little simple squares. Now in the bowl, the other thing that I'm going to put in there is a little olive oil.
Is this seasoned?
I don't know. I mean, like, yes, but no. So I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in there. That was a teaspoon or so. Okay, we want our water at what is called a rolling boil. You want lots and lots of bubbles, and then you want them to be going quick. Okay, so now I'm going to take these and I'm going to gently put them into the water. And notice that I didn't like just dump them all in at once. Oops, I missed one. I kind of sprinkled them around so that they wouldn't stick together. Now, while they're starting to cook, I want to make sure that I give them a stir so that they don't stick to the bottom. Or to each other. And I don't know if you can tell, they're starting to float. Okay, starting to float, that's the beginning signs of them actually being cooked. We want to give them a little bit longer than that. I mean, like, that was what, 30 seconds? Nah, a little longer than that. So when you're talking about the dried pasta from the store, al dente, which means to the teeth, is when you take a little bite of it and there's a tiny, tiny bit of white still through the middle, okay? Right. So, fresh pasta is gonna behave not quite exactly in the same way. So you wanna make sure that it's cooked all the way through, that it still has some nice chew to it. Do you have to do olive oil? No. Can you do butter? Yeah. Can you do a different kind of oil? Yeah. Why do we use oil? So they don't stick together once you've taken them out. So like I said, with fresh pasta, you only need them to cook for a few minutes. So I'm gonna look for one of the ones that's a little thicker. Like that guy. And then I'm gonna test it. So I don't know if you guys can see that. No. Can you see that there's still a little bit of white in the middle? So I actually wanted to cook for a little bit longer. Yeah, I'm the only one eating that, so I'm not gonna stress it. Should you do that if you're at a commercial kitchen? No, you take the bite and throw it away. All good. And there's a little bit of that garlic flavor. There's a little bit of that herb flavor. Is it super pronounced? No. Could I have actually gone more? Yeah, I totally could have gone more. I'm standing back because my son's gonna say open oven, and that's what you would do if you were in a commercial kitchen. I know. I'm not really clear on this, on the banging part. Does it have to go back in? I guess it does. Okay. Those smell really good. Those are pumpkin and spices and stuff. All right, so now. Okay, so now that I've taken my pasta out, I'm putting it into my oil. I'm gonna give it a little stir with the oil. And I'm just doing this so that there is enough oil on everything so it doesn't stick together, okay? Now, what else can I do to this? Can I put cheese on it? Yeah, sure. Can I put this with sauce? Definitely. Can I add salt and pepper right now? Yeah, for sure. Definitely getting the oregano. There's a nice chew to it. Yeah, I like that. I think I could have gone a little bit heavier on the seasoning, but that's because I love garlic. Leave. Okay, so today we made fresh pasta by using a cup and some flour. That was just all-purpose flour, 2 eggs, a little salt, and I chose to put in some dry seasoning. You don't have to, not at all. Then we rolled it out with things that you have around here. Now here's the other thing that you can do. You want to do something and give it texture. You could roll out some of this and press something like this into it. Give it a little texture, make it bumpy. If it's bumpy, it's gonna hold on to sauces a bit better. Versus if it's flat, much more likely for the sauces to kind of fall off. So you can absolutely do that. You can use your fork, do crisscrosses. Get creative with what you have around, because you don't have to have specialty equipment to make fresh pasta in some really fun shapes. Right? All right, how are we doing? Questions, concerns, thoughts, ideas? Good, says Sierra. Did you guys know it was that easy to make fresh pasta? And of course, I explained every step, right? People think that it's super hard to make fresh pasta, and so when they go to the market, they'll get a little 8-ounce package, excuse me, a little 8-ounce package of fresh pasta, and they'll pay $5 for that. $5 for 8 ounces? Okay, regular dried stuff is 16 ounces, is a pound. And if you're using a cup of flour, cup and a half-ish of flour and 2 eggs, okay, 12 eggs is 12 organic eggs is $4. What is that? 30 cents each? Did I do that math right? 3 times 4 is 12, right? 30, 12. 36, close, like 33-ish cents each. So for 66 cents worth of organic egg, so expensive eggs, and a cup and a half of organic flour, which maybe costs 50 cents. I don't think it's even that much, maybe more like 25. For less than $1, I can make enough pasta to at least feed myself and probably feed a couple people for less than $1. That's a big savings. It does take the energy and the kneading. So I want you guys to practice the kneading part so that when we make yeast bread, which will be a much longer process, okay? The yeast bread is gonna be like, I get you guys going with it, or maybe we start the process and we do an overnight rise. Haven't decided yet because I've never had to make bread at a distance before. So but I wanted you guys to start getting practice at kneading, and fresh pasta is the perfect place to start. Yeah, Sierra was thinking that it was going to be really hard, and it's really not. Now, do those machines help? Yeah, they do. They're helpful. They're hand crank, and they're, I don't know the cheap ones. The one that I got is like $90. So maybe they're cheap ones, and if you happen to have a mixer, they usually have a pasta attachment. So if you have a stand mixer, that's something else you could potentially look into. I'm not telling you to do any of that. You can easily finagle it with just your hands and things you have around the house. All right. I think we're gonna call that. I will post the assignment. I will also include some other stuff in the assignment. Hopefully I can post this video with it and a couple of other ones that give a little bit more information about pasta. There'll be a couple of questions about pasta, but your job is to make fresh pasta and show me that you did it, basically. All right. Anybody have any questions at this moment?
No.
No? All right. I think you guys get to go early today. We're just gonna call it. All right, it'll give me a chance to get the assignment up. And then, like I said, take your time to get it done. Yes, you need to get it done, but take your time. When it works, it works. All right, we're gonna call it today. Have a good rest of your day, you guys.
All right, bye. See you Thursday.
Yeah. Right, Thursday, yes. Bye, happy pasta making. No, we do have class. Oh crap. We do have class on Wednesdays. It's this new Wednesday schedule. People think we don't have class. Yes, we do. I will send a message out to everybody. Yes, we have class. Thank you for catching that, Sierra. My brain did not catch that. Yeah, we have class. We still do.
How long were we supposed to let it boil? The
It's
noodles?
only for a few minutes. It's depending on how thick you made your pasta, that's going to be the deciding factor.
Mine came out kind of thick. It's kind of ugly.
It's okay if it's not like mine's like super crazy pretty, you know?
Yeah.
But as I spit, that's nice. One of the things that you will learn is, okay, this is too thick. I'm going to make it thinner next time. That makes sense?
Yeah.
And that's when something like this becomes a really good friend. Because trying to do that just by hand gets much more challenging. Rolling it out with a can good, helpful. And this has little like lines in it. If you don't, maybe if you have a soda can, I'd probably have a different can. No. No, I'm not offering you peanut butter to roll it with. Seems like most of my cans have those funky little things, but I mean, like I have tahini in here, which is sesame seed paste, and that's completely smooth. So, you know, something like that, if you wanted smooth versus bumpy, you could totally do that too.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, like, see, I have that little guy, and that's smooth. And this are artichoke parts. Could I toss this with the pasta? Yep. Totally.
Take your picture.
Oh, do we take a picture to show you?
Yeah, you're gonna take a picture. That's gonna be your easiest way to prove it. And then, like I said, I'll get the official assignment up there. Yeah. So, okie dokie.
Okay.
You good?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, awesome. Have a great rest of your afternoon. I will see you later.
Bye.